All right, welcome back to the Andre Duke Show. I got Richie joining me this evening. Rich, how we doing, man?
Doing good, Duke. How's it going your way?
Oh, same old, same old. Nothing too crazy. The early signing period comes passes.
Yeah. There's some big names that are still haven't been signed with Ohio State. Chris Henrietta Mater D still hasn't signed. Um, have you been following the Legend Bay situation out in Tennessee with signing with Tennessee?
Yeah, they said that he signed with a school he never took a visit to.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a little sketchy.
I well, that just goes to show you that how things are done for money.
Yep.
But then again, um, money makes the
World go
world
round.
go, and so there's that. I think that where we're at, we're about to see things get weird in the playoff hunt. Also, the more of the Kiffin stuff is naturally bizarre. I don't know if you've seen it today. Keith Carter, Ole Miss's athletic director, basically said that he said a lot of things publicly that were not completely accurate. So I don't know. Um, and then also Kiffin tried to get ahead of it with the Charlie Weiss Jr. stuff and said that we're going to allow him to coach the playoff. Meanwhile, Keith Carter says that the playoff, Charlie Weiss coaching in the playoff, was a part of the plan the entire time. Um, uh, where I'm at on it, and this is the last time I'm really going to talk about the Kiffin stuff. In my opinion, he's at LSU. They think he's going to win the Galactic Championship, the Super Bowl, whatever. I would like to see how this, if I could fast forward 3 years and just take a peek and see how it's going at LSU, I would love to do that, but we'll see. A lot of the things that have came out about this just stink. The whole situation stinks, and that's just my opinion on it. So
I think it's just it just needs to be put to bed. Just with everything with Lane, it's me. Look at me. It's not about to me. I don't think it's about his players, Duke.
I mean the whole
it just shows you that's just completely an egotistical stunt.
and with all the stuff that came out with the screenshots and everything, I'm not going to dive into that for obvious, legal reasons. I just say whatever. You
Yeah.
know, at the end of the day, Ole Miss moves on. They hire Pete Golding, which I think is a good hire. So Ole Miss is going to they're going to move on. At the end of the day, they're going to move on. So,
Yeah.
but with that being said, other news, Ole Miss. Speaking of Ole Miss, Hugh Freeze is in the news again.
What did Hugh do?
So the quote, I don't know where this quote is from, but this is from College Football U. It says Hugh Freeze on Jackson Arnold. Let me be clear. This is not a beat up on Jackson Arnold, but certainly it didn't work out to the level that he nor I both expected it to for him and our team. That's why I'm sitting here. I said this weeks ago. Regardless of the way anybody feels about it, Hugh took swings at quarterbacks and did not hit, and that's why he got fired. It had nothing to do with fit. And here's the other thing. I'm going to be big on this, on people pushing back on this guy didn't fit in here. No, he just didn't win. That's all it is. He didn't win. So
No.
let's just stop all the bull crap.
Yeah.
And get to it.
Yeah, let's get to the brass tacks. Wins and losses. What's more important?
Exactly. And, the Florida people, which I think those people are absolutely insane. They're absolutely insane for talking about, the Napier stuff. Do I think John Summerall will win big at Florida? We'll have to see if he's going to get allowed to do that, because I think Billy Napier was handcuffed the entire time. And for Florida, and I'm not trying to do the save Billy thing, his record was what it was. But also, let's put in perspective, he beats Mississippi State and gets fired for it.
Yeah.
Hold on, breaking news. This just in. Matt Campbell emerging as Penn State's focus for their head coaching job. Are they going to – we're going to get to Penn State in a minute, but are they going to swing and miss again?
We'll see.
I mean,
we'll see. I mean, Campbell's a good coach. He's a Tressel guy, Stark County guy. I mean, he had people talking about Iowa State.
I don't know.
But I don't know. Who knows? They might screw the pooch.
People are running away from the Penn State job at an alarming rate. It is an elite Big Ten job. Why are people just absolutely running away from it? That's what I would like to know. I haven't really
if you would have told me the Penn State job is open right now at this time a year ago, or would be open a year ago, and all these recruits just not committing, decommitting, or recommitting, as other people would say,
well,
I'd say you're crazy. Like, what is going on in Creepy Valley?
Here's the big thing: they're 150th in recruiting.
Yes,
they're behind McNeese State, South Dakota State, and they're one above Prairie View A&M, Howard, Alabama State. Those are FCS HBCUs. That is a problem. I don't care.
Kent State has a better recruiting class than them.
Yes. And James Franklin from the recruiting class has taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids out of their recruiting class have flipped and gone to Virginia Tech. Penn State is a problem. It is a problem.
It sounds like to me it's the administration, Duke.
It sounds like it, because there's no other way to slice this other than you struck out on Mike Elko. Matt Rule told you no. Eli Drinkowitz told you no. Everybody that you've tried to get has told you no. They were in too late on Golish. I don't think they could have gotten Summerall if they would have offered him the contract of a lifetime. He just wasn't going to Penn State. Also, other news, talking about programs that are in kind of shambles. Kansas State ends up going 6-6, not accepting a bowl bid. Allegedly, that's what's out there. Their coach stepped down. They're hiring what's his name, Kellen Klein, for the A&M offensive coordinator. So he went to Iowa State, played for Bill Snyder, has probably a lot of equity in the state and in that area. He could possibly turn it around, and we'll see what that looks like under his regime. But also, in other news, Billy Napier hired at JMU, and this is another microcosm of it. Billy Napier's probably going to win big at JMU. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, I just saw that too. I was like, well, he's going to be 10-2 season.
3 years he'll have another SEC job.
Yeah.
Because he'll win 10 games a year, and somebody will say, well, let's give Billy a run. And then if he goes somewhere that's like not South Carolina, that's not Florida, and wins big.
Like Mississippi State.
Yeah. I think that I would not be shocked if he ends up at, depending on how the whole season shakes out. I think Grubb stays at Alabama, but at the end of the day, I really think that, with DeBoer having all these, depending on how his staff gets poached, I think Grubb will stay. A lot of it depends on if Jed Fish leaves, because I think Grubb will go back to Washington. But I wouldn't be shocked if, Billy somehow miraculously ends up with an SEC job again. I know the Arkansas people are out on Silverfield. They don't want him, but whatever. He beat Arkansas at Memphis, which don't know how much that happens often. But Virginia Tech, 22nd in recruiting, right behind Illinois. Virginia.
Vautech.
And Penn State's only got 2 kids signed. That's it, and they're both.
You know what? That's what they get. That's what they get for firing Franklin in midseason. I have no sympathy, Duke. None.
No, and then also the wild trek out here. We've got Vanderbilt flipping 5-star kids. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Didn't they flip a Georgia commit?
Yes, the Curtis kid, the running back. Or not the running back, the quarterback.
Quarterback, yeah, I thought he was a quarterback.
Also, the other bizarre thing that we have going on is Penn State doesn't hire Brian Hartline, and he goes to USF.
Go Bulls, baby.
That's, USF, and 4 American coaches get poached this offseason. And then the USC steals Caden Dixon-Wyatt from Ohio State, which at some point Day had to know that eventually Hartline was going to leave. That's what I was communicating to folks. I'm assuming Keenan Bailey's going to be the wide receiver coach.
I would assume so.
That's what I would assume. It's there's a lot of variables. Also, on the other tick, if BYU beats Texas Tech, I'm seeing out there that Notre Dame's going to get left out of the playoff. It's either Notre Dame or Miami.
Yeah.
Miami's clinging to hope, and I think that Vanderbilt's not going to get in.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get in because you got to either take Notre Dame or Miami out of they're ranked ahead of them.
Yeah.
And if you look at Vandy's resume, their only losses are at Alabama and I believe at Texas. 2 pretty tough places to play, so I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a toss-up.
Yeah.
It's a toss-up with Miami and Notre Dame. Notre Dame's won 10 straight. Their first 2 games were tough matchups. But Miami, they lost to unranked Louisville, though, Duke. You can't lose to an unranked team. I'm sorry.
That is.
I don't have sympathy if you don't make the playoffs for losing. If the committee counts towards your resume an unranked loss or losing to an unranked team. No, you should beat those unranked. You have to beat those unranked teams.
No, wholeheartedly. I don't see how you can look at it and say that it's cool to a certain point that 10-2 for the longest time we thought was the benchmark.
Right.
No 3-loss team, and what's really going to muck this up is that if Duke beats Virginia, that means JMU's in the playoff. If they win their game Friday night.
That's wild.
That's the system. And quite frankly, the biggest thing for me is I'm tired of hearing people complain about the college football playoff format. You guys, the SEC, the Big Ten, ACC, Big 12, and Notre Dame all got in a room and agreed on a format. That's what it is. They've slightly changed it but you guys agreed to it. This is the system you agreed to. If you didn't want it,
then why'd you vote on it and agree and say, yeah, we'll do it?
Exactly. And and the other thing I'm sick and tired of is the people talking about, well, Notre Dame has to be in a conference. Well, at the end of the day, what is the big sticking point? If Notre Dame is in the ACC, they're winning that going away. If Notre Dame is in the Big 12, they're winning that going away. The SEC, probably a different story. The Big 10, a probably different story. But I just don't see where they think that, this conference superiority's got to be the be-all, end-all.
Right. It's anymore. You're going to see these. And the other thing, too, is I was just talking with somebody about these conference championship games this weekend. We're not going to be – it's going to be like it was 14, 15 years ago. Whoever has the best record, they're going to be handed a champion, the conference championship playoffs first round.
The only reason why I would say that I kind of disagree is for the fact of I don't know how you can get rid of them after they make so much money for the conferences. I think that they're going to completely blow up the playoff format if Notre Dame doesn't get in and if Alabama doesn't get in. And if they put JMU in on a point of technicality. Because if Tulane wins, they're going to be in. So you're going to have two group of 5 teams where you have Texas, Alabama, Vanderbilt. Not that I'm trying to take a huge shot at the group of 5, but I'm just saying you're possibly looking at a playoff scenario where you have two group of 5 teams, one from the Sun Belt, one from the American, that don't even have coaches. Tulane hasn't hired anybody yet. I mean, Summerall's still the acting head coach. I'm sure he's going to coach in the playoffs because it's huge. It's probably one of the biggest games in Tulane's history if they make the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Same thing with JMU. Bob Chesney's going to UCLA. I don't know. Like, people can blame the calendar all they want, but for the guys at the group of 5 that are leaving, I don't think that that's that big of a deal. I think Penn State's going to have no choice but to hire Dan Mullen, and I don't think they want to hire Dan Mullen.
I think they're going to go after Brian Kelly.
I mean, at this point, there's nobody left unless you take an absolute shot in the dark if you're Penn State.
Or you see an NFL coach get fired.
But you're so far down the road for Black Monday in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, what do we got? We got, what week is this? 14.
Yeah, and the transfer portal.
We got 4 more weeks left of the NFL season.
Transfer portal hasn't even opened yet.
No. So
that's where I'm at. Looking at the group of 5, what would help some of the other schools out there is, as I look at the games, I'm surprised Charles Kelly isn't getting recommendations for other jobs in which that might happen at Jacksonville State. I would not be shocked if Charles Kelly takes an upgraded job somewhere. Because there's going to be more openings coming after this season.
Yeah.
Because UNLV's assuming if they hire Mullen, but I don't think they've communicated anything. I mean, they met with Urban Meyer. I don't think Urban was going to take the Penn State job. I think he went there to pitch Mullen, and they just haven't pulled the trigger yet. Or unless they have a deal in place and Penn State's just not announcing it with someone. But out of the American, North Texas is in the conference championship against Tulane. Both them coaches gone. Eric Morris, Oklahoma State, John Summerall, Florida. Boise State's back in the Mountain West championship, but I think UNLV beats them. And then JMU Troy in the Sun Belt and Kennesaw State, which is a miraculous turnaround. They were first year in FBS. They fire Brian Bohannon, and they turn it around, and they are in the conference championship game and sitting at 9-3. So it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
I would say,
sure can.
But also on the other Penn State click of this, the transfer portal hasn't opened yet, so you don't even know what that looks like. You don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see who all jump ship when that portal opens up from Penn State.
Oh yeah, I mean,
could they even field a team?
I don't know what they're going to do, because if they don't name a head coach by the time the transfer portal opens, it most likely is what it is at that point, in my opinion. Because if you look at the top coaches out there for Penn State, I believe there was some smoke around DeBoer. He told him no.
Yep.
Drinkwitz told him no. And I don't think they were ever in the Lane Kiffin business anyway. I think they might have made an offer and Lane said, where? Nah. I guarantee you that's how that offer went. I believe it was, yeah, no thanks. I mean, if they get... On3's reporting the Matt Campbell stuff. The two parties have been in communication in the last 24 hours, but what does that mean? They called, reached out, gave an offer.
No movement.
Does Matt Campbell move the fan base? I mean, the people...
Midwestern guy.
But at the end of the day, you got Ryan Day in Columbus. I think that Michigan State's going to be vastly improved. I mean, they hired Pat Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
I don't see how that doesn't work, but
which I'm great. I'm happy for Pat Fitzgerald to get another shot after that debacle at Northwestern.
Which I think that was
complete BS. Complete BS.
It just very, very interesting.
Yes, indeed.
They are calling into question of the Kiffin stuff. It is it's funny as I look at it. You look at it back. This is the last thing on the Kiffin stuff, and then we'll move on to the conference championship games on Saturday, and we'll get everybody out of here. So Lane starts the career Fresno State as an assistant. He goes to Colorado State as a GA in 99. Goes to the Jaguars for a year, then ends up on the staff coaching tight ends at USC. And then he's the wide receiver coach for 2 years. And then he gets pass game coordinator title, which is AKA we're going to pay you more money. And then he works his way up to the OC for 2 years and lands the Raiders job.
Jay Marcus
gets fired from Oakland, goes to Tennessee, leaves in the dead of night to go to USC, gets fired on the tarmac. He gets fired at Alabama the night before, or a week before the national championship game, but accepts the Florida Atlantic job, wins big at Florida Atlantic, turns it around, gets the Ole Miss job, wins big at Ole Miss, and lies his way to LSU. That's a fascinating turn of events there. But
yeah, fascinating resume indeed.
I mean, he's been the head coach of now 3 SEC programs. And some people are saying he's committed the full Ed Orgeron.
It's been complete.
Oh. I don't know where that came from. but the thumbs up. But anyway, appreciate people hitting the like button. I think that's where it came from. But Heartline at USF, are you in or are you out on it? I think he'll be all right.
I'm in.
I think
he'll pull some talent from that area in the Tampa area. There's a lot of good talent down in Tampa. South Florida Express, he may get some guys that, typically may go to Ohio State. Who knows? But, some 3 stars, maybe a 4-star here and there.
Are we looking at Florida State's new head coach in 18 months?
I didn't think about that, Duke. That's a good one. Maybe.
Because
Norvell, they're giving what, Norvell another year?
Yeah, and I think if it looks like it did this year, there's no way that they can keep it going, because the big thing I've realized is in these coaching deals is if you're getting beat bad at home and the stadium's empty, it's not a good look.
Yeah, tickets are going for $8. Yeah,
it like the LSU with the Brian Kelly thing. Like if you go back and watch the bare bones of how the A&M game ended with all those people dressed as empty seats in Baton Rouge, and it kind of you heard some grumbling and booing and some other things. Same thing with Hugh Freeze at Auburn. With all this stuff going on, it feels like Hugh Freeze got fired a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate to, just say it again. For Lane, hopefully it works out for you, but
it's good. It's going to be tough down there for him, I think. It's going to be very tough.
What I think will be an issue is what happens if Charlie Weiss stays at Ole Miss.
Ole Miss and gets an SEC title.
Well, if he stays at Ole Miss and does not go to Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
And Lane, the other thing is that I have a major issue is when the players come out and are calling you a liar. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Huge problem. Ooh, did Dak get safetied?
So I think at a certain point we're going to see I don't think we'll see the full gamut of what it was, but that's just kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, the whole Lane thing, it kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth with just how it's all worked out, how it's all transpired.
I think that, but here's the other thing. In no way, shape, or form, when Keith Carter gave that interview to Super Talk Mississippi, he basically told him, he's like, they knew weeks ago that he wasn't coaching the playoffs if he wasn't staying at Ole Miss. So I think that College Game Day, I don't watch it because it's whatever to me. I don't watch none of those pregame shows. I think they're
corny with just.
It's the same.
Those forced interviews every weekend. It's like I'm good.
It's the same thing every week. It's just packaged different.
Yeah,
they may do a different order, but it's the same thing every week. They talk about the pressing games first, then they do a thought piece in the second hour and talk about some more games, and then the final 25 minutes, they talk about the upcoming games for today, and then they do a segment on the big game that they're there for, and then after that, they pick the games, and it's when we'll see you guys next week. I get it. The people that are there, it's cool, but watching the production of it, McAfee, I think Pat's good. Saban going to bat for Lane Kiffin is just wild to me. It's just like that was. I get it. You're the greatest college football coach of our generation. You're the greatest, the greatest. But at the end of the day, Saban was wrong for saying that. He should coach the play. No. How about don't walk away from a playoff team?
Yeah.
And if
don't leave your players hanging high and dry.
If you were going to, and you knew you had the deal with LSU in the bye week leading up to the Egg Bowl, you should have stepped away then. Period. That's just my opinion on it, because I think it was either we or go. I think the Egg Bowl was the drop dead point. After the Egg Bowl, that's that. But anyway, enough of the Kiffin stuff. SEC Championship, 4:00. Alabama, Georgia. I don't know how that's going to go. Assuming everything.
23-17, the Tide.
I think the Tide win the SEC, and it shuts up the Alabama critics for a while. I think it really does.
Yeah.
It quiets all the Alabama stuff about whether DeBoer can win the big game. It'll send Georgia message boards into a meltdown if they lose the SEC to Alabama. UGA 2.5-point favorite as of right now. And then the nightcap, which I think it's dumb to have two games on at once, but like I said, who am I? Ohio State, Indiana, Lucas Oil, Ohio State. This year, I think they were 9.5-point favorites last year. It's down to 4 this year. So,
jeez,
we'll see. Don't know about that. Well, definitely got to let that one play out. This is for the number 1 overall seed. Big time matchup. And then BYU takes on Texas Tech at noon. I don't know how many people are going to watch that because last year's Big 12 championship game was uncompetitive as they come. So we'll see. Maybe we'll have a competitive game, and also the MAC is on at noon. But I think there's going to be a lot of eyeballs for concerned parties on Virginia Duke, because if Duke wins that game, oh boy. I also thought that maybe Penn State would hire Manny Diaz back.
Yeah.
So I think
they might. I mean, well, hey, they could still do that.
I think the short list.
If Duke upsets this weekend, yeah,
it's a big upset. I mean, Tony Elliott and Virginia aren't going to get in, but I think that you got to commend Tony Elliott and Virginia for everything they've done this year.
Right.
So, where does Caden Dixon-Wyatt going to USC, I think, is concerning for Ohio State people with the Chris Henry Jr. stuff?
No, I don't think it is. There might be some big names in the portal coming up. Maybe a whiteout or two from the SEC. They got Traquaden Rickett. What's his name? Rackets?
Yeah, something.
I heard the kid's a stud.
So we'll see.
I'm not worried about it. It's still Ohio State.
Right. A lot of times people tend to freak out over nothing. It's he wants to make an informed decision, which you can't blame him because it's a decision that's going to shape the rest of your life. It's not that big of a decision, right?
Right now. No, it's not like buying a car, or buying a house, getting married.
Right. Yeah. So, Here's the number from CFP alerts. Penn State coaching search has netted coaches in an estimated $370 million in extensions.
It's quite the chunk of change there, Duke.
So I guess Kentucky's hiring Joe Sloan from the ex-LSU offensive coordinator at Kentucky. So
really,
yeah. So we'll see. But outside of that, I really ain't got nothing too much else. Anything pressing that you're going to be watching this weekend, Rich?
No. Just gonna be watching the Buckeyes Saturday night. Nothing really. Well, I'll be watching all the conference championship games.
So
that's the last time we have until bowl season.
Yeah, bowl season's going to be fascinating, to say the least, on the amount of opt-outs. Yep. So I guess I'll give everybody the updated schedule. We'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow. Don't know, are you in or out for tomorrow, or out? You got stuff going on?
I think I got something going on tomorrow.
All right. So I'll be back tomorrow. Probably we'll do a call-in show. Call-in show tomorrow, and then Saturday we'll stream the 2 conference championship games of substance, which will be the Big Ten and the SEC. We'll have 2 watch parties for that on Saturday, and then we'll let everybody watch the college football playoff reveal show on Sunday, and then we'll get back at it. I'll be back at it Monday. We'll see if the committee got it right or wrong, and then we'll probably see Rich on Tuesday and Thursday next week leading into the college football playoff. So there is that. Rich, got anything else?
Got nothing else.
All right. Well, everybody have a good night, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
Have a great night, everybody.